So we're going to take a look at some problems for section 10.3. Now, first, let me do an introduction, what this is about. In the previous section, we did this. We would have a line. Let's say it did something like this. Passed through the point 0.03, and it had a slope. Let's say m equals 2. And we wanted to come up with the formula for this line. Now, this here is really the y-intercept, b. So we can come up with a formula, y equals mx plus b, or y equals 2x plus 3. And so that would be the formula for this line. And the reason we want this is now we can take an input number, replace x with the input number, do the arithmetic, and get a value for y. So, for example, let x equal 7. So that's going to be the x coordinate of our new point. Then y equals 2 times 7 plus 3, or 14 plus 3, or 17. The y coordinate of our new point. And so we get 7, 17. And so we could generate a new point using this formula that we got from our line. But to get this from the line, we need to be given the slope and the y-intercept. Now, what happens if we're given the slope in a point that's not the y-intercept? Well, let's figure that out. So let's say we have the following. So we don't have our y-intercept. It does exist, but let's say we don't know what it is. And instead, let's say we're given the following. .32. And we know this has a slope of, say, and here, let me draw this a little differently. A slope of m equals 2. Can we come up with the formula for this line? Well, recall that a formula is something like y equals f of x. And what this means for an input of x, we get an output of y. So that means we could pick some point on this line. As long as it's on the line, it must follow the formula for this line, whatever that formula is. So any input x for this line will have a y output for this line defined by this mysterious formula. Well, is there a way we can trick our line to give us the formula? Is there a way we can do that? And there actually is. We can use the slope formula to trick our line. This is how we do it. Recall that the slope formula is this. Well, let's call this x1, y1, and this x2, y2. And we have a slope 2. So 2 equals, this is y, that output variable for this line, for our formula, minus, let's see, y1 is the number 2. x2 is the input variable for our formula. And this is okay as long as we're assuming x and y are a point on this particular line. Can't choose x, y to be here or here. That's not on the formula. It's not on the line, and therefore it doesn't follow the formula. So, got to follow the formula, it means it has to be on the line. That's x2, x1 is 3. And this is what we're going to do. This is how we can trick it. If we solve for y with x over here, we have a formula in terms of x that'll give us y, and that's it. There you go. Let's see what this does. So, solve for y. Multiply both sides by x minus 3. This is dividing by x minus 3. The opposite of dividing is multiplying. So opposites cancel. But what we did the one side, we've got to do to the other. And so we'll get x minus 3 times 2 equals y minus 2. And we can switch around the equal sign. Just for example, 1 plus 4 equals 5. We can rewrite that as 5 equals 1 plus 4. It says the same thing. So we're going to do that here. Y minus 2 equals x minus 3 times 2. And then likewise with multiplication, the order doesn't matter. For example, 5 times 3, I'll use the dot here. The dot and the little x for multiplication mean the same thing. This is 3 times 5. The order for multiplication doesn't matter. 15 and 15. Same here. X minus 3 times 2 is the same as 2 times x minus 3. Lastly, we just need to distribute the 2 to the x and the 3. Almost lastly, we'll get 2x minus 6. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times minus 3 is minus 6. Lastly, add 2 to both sides. And we get the formula y equals 2x minus 4. And that's it. So, what do we do with this? Well, what we're going to do is use a formula. And the formula actually brings us back up to here. The formula is this. If we're given a y1, a slope, and an x1, we can use this formula to get the equation for that line. Now, you might say, well, shouldn't they just add the y1 over there? And I would agree with you, to be honest, because that solves for y, but the convention is to have y minus y1 instead of y equals mx minus x1 plus y1. That's just what they do. So this is the formula we're actually going to use. So when we're given this and this, we can find the equation of that line. So that's the introduction. Any questions? Let me know.